here with an old friend of mine who's got huge amounts of experience living and working in Oman. And for all those teachers who are thinking about moving to this part of the world, I think it'd be very useful for you to hear what he has to say. So do you want to just introduce yourself to everybody?
Sure, Munir. Thanks very much for the opportunity. My name is Steve Rundle. I was general manager of a operational risk management and health and safety consulting company based out of Oman. I spent 5 years living and working in Oman on a full-time basis. I had been visiting for the 15 years prior to that, and since leaving I've been back 3 times. And to be honest, I can't think of a nicer place in the Gulf to live than Oman, and particularly Muscat.
Wonderful, thank you very much. So first of all, can you give us an overview of Muscat, because we work with quite a few schools there.
No problem at all. My experience is sort of limited to Muscat. I do know the other cities, but like I said, I did live in Muscat. Muscat is, well, pretty much is considered to be the holy grail of expat postings around the Gulf. And that is largely due to the laid-back nature, the position of Muscat on the Indian Ocean, and the overall culture and beauty that exists within Muscat. It's not a small city. Muscat is, when people say Muscat, they think they refer to the whole of the urban area. It's actually made up of 7 or 8 different little townships that all merge into one. So it starts with Sib, Mawela, Al Qud, then moves down to Gala, down through Kerm, right down through Darsit. You could define old Muscat as being Matra and Matra Souk.
Okay, so we do a lot of work in Sib. So you've mentioned Sib. I mean, is there a lot to do there? Is it expensive? What's the housing like?
It all depends what you're looking for. Now, the economy is very oil and gas driven. Because of the downturn in the oil and gas industry, an awful lot of people have left. This has pushed property prices down. So my last stint in Oman, I was renting a fully furnished apartment for the equivalent of €800 a month. And my electricity bill for that, including air conditioning in peak of summer, was no more than 35 to 40 euro a month. You get into the habit of switching it off when you leave in the morning and switching it back on when you come home. Food costs, they're on a par across the Gulf. A lot of the basic commodities are subsidized. So milk, bread, water are all subsidized. They're all going to cost you €1 or €2 a bottle, nothing dramatic. Eating out, again, you can eat out from €2 per person at the local shawarma place, right up to 5-star dining if you went down to the Chedi Hotel, and everything in between. While I was living in Oman, as a single person, I had a really good lifestyle, good social life, eating out once or twice a week, including a few beers and including a few glasses of wine. And my cost of living was about €1,000 a month.
Is it safe?
It's extremely safe. And it's extremely safe for single women. You don't get harassed there. I never felt unsafe at any point. Even the driving in Oman is considerably safer than the rest of the Gulf. Right? Having come out of Saudi Arabia, it was an absolute delight to drive in Oman. Things are getting worse with driving, but that's only due to the volume of traffic. Expect to have the horn blown at you, but don't retaliate. Just shrug it off and move on.
So you said that you were there from a single person's perspective. What about if you were there as a family?
If you were as a family, then there's a huge amount to do, and it's an ideal place to raise a family. My son was born in Oman and was there for the first 2 years. And we were fortunate that we had a compound with a swimming pool, so he learned to swim at the age of 2. Most weekends after that, we would head down to Marina Bandar Rauda, which is right down on the coast, go down, use the swimming pool, have a few beers, have some lunch, and it was absolutely fantastic. Muscat is an incredibly social place. And in fact, school kids will probably have a better social life than their adult parents. They're constantly,
I'm not sure if the parents want to hear that, but okay, fair enough.
they're constantly getting invited to parties and barbecues and that sort of thing. Now, the social life in Oman is good, but you do have to work hard at it. There are bars, there are a few clubs, but again, it depends what you're looking for. I built my social life up with a lot of like-minded friends who enjoyed having a barbecue on the roof or going up into the mountains during the summer to get away from the heat and going camping and partying up on the mountains. So it all depends what you're looking for in terms of social life.
Well, before we go on to just, if you could give us an overview of Oman, as you also know, we do work in Sur as well for one of the schools there. Now, when we speak to people about Sur, in all honesty, they've never heard of it. So can we have your experience, please?
That's not surprising. A lot of people don't know where Oman is, and you have to sort of say it's at the bottom end of bottom end of the Arabian Peninsula. It's the bit that's next to Dubai and Yemen, and they'll find, oh, that lumpy bit there. Sur it's 120, 140 kilometers south of Muscat. Now, they've recently, within 3 years, built and opened a brand new road. It is hilly, but it is a 2-lane highway each way, and it's well maintained. So you can do that trip in an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and 30 minutes without too much problem. Obviously, Sur is not as big or as built up as Muscat, but I know the school you're talking about, and that I understand that there is a pretty good social life on that compound anyway.
Okay.
I've got several friends of mine that live and work for that particular company in different capacities, and they've always had a good lifestyle on that compound. And I do understand that there is a watering hole, shall we say, on the compound.
Fine. But as we both agree, there are other things to do there too.
There are an awful lot of other things to do. I thoroughly enjoy getting out. I'm a very keen diver, and I've dived all around the world, and Oman has to rate as one of the top 3 sites I've ever dived. And that's pitching it up against a barrier reef and Indonesia. I dived out of Bandar Rauda Marine. I'm fortunate to be a dive master. And literally all of the dive sites are within an hour and a half of Muscat. Now, it's great. The dive shops are very professionally run and well maintained. If you don't dive, there's in Muscat, there's 2 Hash House Harrier groups. There's Muscat Harriers on a Saturday night, and there's Jebel Hash on a Sunday night. And it's just a way of getting out and getting a bit of exercise. Come the summer, things do tend to slow down a little bit because of the heat. But that's when you take to the mountains. And if you have 4-wheel drive or access to a 4-wheel drive, go up to Jebel Akhdar, go up to Jebel Shams, go up to Salma Plateau. Temperature will be about 20 degrees lower, can be positively cool at night, so bring a sweater. And just go camping, go walking. The scenery up there is stunning.
So would it be fair to say that you would advocate living in Oman to any prospective teachers thinking about it then?
In a heartbeat. I mean, I'm actively looking to go back to Muscat. And if the opportunity arises, then I will be gone. It's as simple as that.
Steve, thank you very, very much. Much appreciated. I'm sure the teachers will appreciate everything that you've said. And thank you very much for your time.